Welcome. I'm Halcyon, and this is a post-Hug Nation check-in based on a link that I have been perusing. I posted it on the Pink Heart Camp public Facebook group, and the discussion there is getting heated, and I was getting heated, and so I wanted to get this. I wanted to get it out and talk to people. I'm going to just confirm that it's working here and we are live and you can see me. Can you see me? West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Can you see me? Oh, that makes no sense. All right, welcome. It looks like that's working. Okay, cool. So, you might want to share this with your Burning Man rabid devotee fans, because I think we're going to whip ourselves into a frenzy here, or at least I. Okay, so there was a link that I just saw to a Vogue article / photo gallery of Burning Man. So-and-so artist brings Burning Man art to the runway. Now, of course, we should expect that Burning Man will influence fashion. It influences everything. And while, first time you see fur-covered boots in a pretty trendy place, you're like, oh man, but of course, that's how culture moves and flows and everything like that. But there's something about these playa-inspired outfits that is, well, I don't like it. So I'm gonna go and look at a couple pictures and explain to you what I think is wrong, and you let me know if you agree or you disagree, if you're pissed or whatever. Okay, so here we go. Let's see if we can add. All right, so I'm gonna see. This is my first time playing with this kind of tool. So let's see. So can you see this outfit? Ta-da, yeah, cool. Crazy outfit, crazy runway. Sure, designers are weird, we get that. But I'm gonna zoom in on some things. First, I'm the one I've been waiting for. I think that was a neon sign on Playa. Right? But there's more, right? There's also, look at this. Can you see that? Can you see that the Hug Deli is on this bag? I mean, maybe Mikey was contacted and that's cool, but that just looks gross.
So I know that Hug Deli did not give permission. Look at that. It's on a fanny pack. That's, ugh. Okay, let's look at another one. Now, if you zoom in on these pants, which uses this fabric that's used on a bunch of different neck. Well, sure, you can see the mutant vehicle purse, and then you can see different sculptures. There's a Hug Deli again. There's the Believe over on the right. You can see all the different, landmarks from the Playa on this Playa print fabric that's used all over the place in this collection. Clearly feels like this is a commodity, a literal Playa commodified. There's that purse. Clearly, that is a recognizable mutant vehicle. There's the rainbow. There's the flamingo. The same fabric used in a different way on a skirt. And you can just see all the different known Playa artwork and installations. And of the artists that I have talked to, none have given permission. In fact, some have overtly says no. And I know when the artist contacted, or somebody from the artist contacted the Department of Vehicles, they sent him a very well-worded message saying, this is not a good idea. People are pretty strict about their decommodification. There you can see a version of the dancers. And another, use of that fabric. Again, like without that fabric, these are cool extensions of Burning Man style. But that fabric especially without permission. There's the tea kettle, roving tea kettle. There's the Hug Deli again. The Believe. This is the one that is the hardest to fathom. It looks like a lamplighter robe. Got the flames along the bottom. Looks like a version of a lamplighter robe. But then, if you look closer, what's in the white space there? What's in that white space? It looks like writing on the temple? What the fuck? That's not cool. That cannot be cool. It is not cool. Look at that. It looks to be an outfit made out of writing on the temple. Show them love while they're here, says one of them, which is a beautiful thing to see on the temple. It's a beautiful thing to take with you, maybe even take a picture of so you can remember it. But to put it on clothing and then sell it? What the actual F? Goggles, that's again, their interpretation of a piece that you'd see, frequently at Burning Man. I think that's fair for that to be seen on a runway. But the specifics of the temple, too much, way too much.
Yeah. So, am I wrong? Is that like that's like taking pictures of people crying at a funeral and using it to sell something? Okay, so let's discuss. My point was this was wrong, and it's one thing to have art that's influenced by Burning Man. It's another thing to take Burning Man art and then repurpose it as your art. It's another thing entirely to take something sacred and turn it into an outfit. Like the writing on the temple walls turned into, I mean, I guess, who are we to say what is and isn't art, and who are we to say what's sacred and what's profane? But it feels fucking profane. And I mean, I guess it's not illegal. It's not against the principles, but it seems fucking gross to me. Ugh. I don't know about the artist. There's another outfit that was in the show where there was a mask that was very recognizable by a Burning Man wedding, but apparently that was used. The actual mask was used by permission of the artist who is also a fashion designer. But I can't imagine. I haven't heard back from Mikey yet of Mikey's Hug Deli if he got a little like, hey, you want to be in my art? Yeah, you know what? If with approval, that would be okay, and especially with approval of the people who wrote in the temple. But I think that if you capture a photograph of the temple writing and you share it as a photograph capturing the temple and trying to demonstrate the power of the temple as a photograph, which a photograph's job is to capture something, right? But this doesn't feel like that outfit was attempting to capture the majesty and the power and the grief and the magic of the temple. It felt like that was making it crass, blasphemous. Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe that's what fashion does. Does it? I don't know. I don't have a lot of runway outfits. Pamela saying, just wrong. Feels horrible. Seems against the principles. Commodification of Burning Man. Yeah, good point. Yeah, right. Commodification principle. It is against the rules. I mean, I guess if it's not for sale, if it's simply because is fashion, do people actually wear the clothes in fashion shows, or is it just as a art? That was in Vogue magazine. Take a deep breath. Joe saying, I wish people would take less photos and without the need to capture everything. I I agree. I do appreciate seeing photos, and I'm glad that there are people taking photos of things, and I definitely set aside time to take photos. And I also appreciate the overwhelming feeling to capture something that is so amazing and everything is so gorgeous and so beautiful. But I have some pretty I now I try to do like capture the moment pictures instead of trying to like, you can't actually capture the beauty, and you're not gonna, but you can have things that will remind you of cool experiences. Cartoonizing, says Sugar Jones. Is that what it was doing? And on the same week that the president is signing Bibles, we have a fashion designer using temple sacred words as a pattern for a piece of clothing. James says, fashion cultural appropriation is nonsense, in my opinion. All fashion and culture have been appropriated for somewhere. It's all about inclusion and acceptance. I totally reject the fact it's offensive unless it's done in a hateful way. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and that's mine. Moving forwards, not backwards. Hateful way? I guess so. I mean, I think that there are, like I say, the fact that it's for sale, if it's for sale, that's against commodification. And so that is against the principles, and the community works because we all follow the principles. Also have things about trying to honor one another's work. You would attribute art that if you took a photograph of someone's art, you would attribute it. Although I have had my picture from Burning Man used on yoga pants and on a phone case. But I think both of those were technically wrong. I don't think the people that did those were burners. And I don't think, and I also, it wasn't a picture of me, like if it was a picture of me crying at the temple, or that would be, that's a human dignity and a human decency thing, whether or not it's a Burning Man thing. Amy's saying it's likely that the Burning Man organization knew about it. The only one that really gets my blood boiling is temple writing, and if Hugdeli's on there without Hugdeli knowing. Although maybe he thinks, cool, I'm a part of culture, and that's like an homage is different than, like, if it was a yellow stand, that would be kind of cute, I guess, but I'm open to having my mind changed. Glenn saying, find a way to turn it on its head. Burning Man has the world's imagination. This is a crass form of flattery, but there's power in getting burner culture out into the outside world. I agree with that. And maybe by just seeing the photographs, I'm missing the context. Maybe there was a explanation of the temple and what it does for our community and how important it is and how it fulfills this void of our spiritual lives. And so this was his way of trying to share such a special thing with people. And maybe he gave context and explained what it was. And I think that would be a scenario where I would be less irked. Pamela saying, those are fashion pieces that advertise the designer's work. They're being used as marketing, and some could potentially be put into mass production. I mean, clearly a number of pieces had that, like a pattern. It was a pliocene that was used on pants, and it was used on a skirt. There could be a line of clothes where that is the pattern, right? That could be mass produced, clearly. Amy's saying that the board treasurer for Burning Man project was at the fashion show. Oh, I don't know how to feel about that. Don't know how to feel about that. I feel like we're having a little crisis as a movement here. You know, we want to say we're not about elitist culture at the expense of our heart. Oh, but we seem that we definitely embrace elitist culture at the expense of our art. Jesse saying, for me, the main issue is that you're taking something sacred and monetizing it. It appears as though the only thing in the world that has remained sacred that cannot be commodified are pictures of Allah because it has threats of violence attached to it. That's a good data point in this discussion, you know, like, is it, I'm not against the reproduction of the art. It just feels like, and I feel like if you were disrespectful of iconography from Christianity, that would be wrong and offensive too. So if you were a Christian and you did the piece of art of like, was it, Christ in urine or something like that, which was, I think, a controversial art grant years ago. And if you did some Jesus art that was crass, I think you should expect that Christians would be upset. Although, you know, I see t-shirts with Jesus on it, and I see people make American flag jackets and stuff. I just think that the walls of the temple are not like the flag and not like a picture of Jesus. It's different. What's it more like? It's like grieving families. Like if you took a picture of grieving families in a church and then made that into a shawl. Face it, Burning Man has been a brand and you're upset about misuse of your brand. I'll think about facing that. I'm not sure if as I said, like everything about it irks me when it kind of irks me when I see, you know what? If it was just influenced by Burning Man, there was a lot of outfits in that show that I thought were super cool. It was only the ones that seemed to have direct, like clearly were playa imagery, playa brands that are supposed to exist outside the default world that were then integrated into someone's commodification. That was what irked me. The rest of the stuff, you want to use fur and horns and cool goggles, like fuck yeah, that's fucking cool. I want that out in the world. More people being more expressed, even if you're copying people to be it. The irony of, like, I went to a show or a warehouse event where a bunch of Burning Man designers came and people came to go shopping for the burn. And I just saw hundreds of people there shopping, not hundreds, 100 maybe people, going through racks of like fur boot covers and, you know, captain's hats with jewels on them. And I was like, this is the same behavior that people do when they are shopping for senior year school. You're trying to find an outfit that will make you fit in. That seems contrary to the magic of Burning Man, where you can actually step into something that you always wanted to be. The default, you know, go to Nordstrom and buy something off the shelf or off the mannequin and say, cool, this way I'll fit in. This way no one will tease me. This way I can just like copacetic, no abrasiveness between me and the world. That's kind of the thing that happens when you go, oh, cool, give me this Burning Man fashion, make it for me so that I can now fit in with this culture. It's fine. It's just not taking advantage of the opportunity. And in doing so, makes the opportunity less powerful. Am I arguing about fighting the tide? Probably. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Haven't you ever made a sandcastle and the tide's coming up? You make a moat, man. You make a moat because it protects it for a little while. And who knows what magic. Maybe that's when the sun sets. That's all you got to do. Does that metaphor go too far? So I don't know if you saw the beginning. I can go through some of the outfits that I've been talking about. If you missed the beginning, I'll just pop into them again real quick, and maybe I will and won't lose audio. At least I'll learn this tool and see if it's working for me. Let's try to do this again. Go, boom. Oh, wait, what? Maybe it's not going to work for me. I'm trying some new stuff that I have not yet tried with Be Live. Oh, I know. Maybe it's this. This? No. All right. I cannot change it. I lied. Tribalism is what I'm describing, says Joe, and decommodification is our moat. Yes. Oh, maybe I can see the things from this page. Would we be okay with pictures taken of people crying at a funeral, at an altar, at a church, then put on clothing? Nope. Thanks, Karen. I agree. You know, I know I wasn't joking when I said that my picture at Burning Man was spotted on a pair of yoga pants. So, and I guess the reality was I thought it was funny. If it was mass produced, if it wasn't, you know, seen in some Arizona yoga studio, I think it might have gotten me more irked. And the fact that it was just a picture of me, you couldn't tell it was at Burning Man, although I knew it was taken at Burning Man, that made it less problematic for me. That always makes it like, yeah. And some of the problems is that, you know, with the whole like people that make art for Burning Man for free, and then other people in some way or another make money off it, it's not good. Not good. All right. Well, since Glenn is saying it's my choice what I make of it. I don't know. I think that you got to make it something of things. If you don't care about anything, then nothing matters. And I do think it matters. So I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I think you can make something into being not okay. That's okay to say, what I make of this is that this crosses a line for me. Joe pointed out that consent is required. Without it, this is a violation of another. Sugar Johnson, I've never been, but I wanted to for years. It seems that what happens at Burning Man is sacred, and that seems like it should be protected. Buying burner culture and living burner culture are not the same thing. That's a beautiful ideal. There is a lot of blurriness, especially lately. And that's one of the things that the organization spoke out recently about Instagram models and a number of people that are using Burning Man as a part of their marketing. And it turns the experience while you're there into a very different experience when there are people using it as a backdrop for their photo shoots. Yes, we are talking about the fashion show. It was in Vogue. Let me see. I'm going to try one more time if I can pull the pictures up again. It will let me. Come on, Be Live. Will it let me? Huh. I seem to have frozen it. if I take myself out of the equation, oops, whoops. Oh boy. This is, oh, I'm gonna experiment here. See if this will work. Can I do this? Oh, okay, cool. Look at this. I can actually put your quotes on the screen. See, thanks for letting me test this. Oops, no. Oh, there we go. Hide the current comment. Sorry. I guess I've broken Be Live. And probably in doing so, your heart. Okay. Oh. It's just not showing me what's happening. Sorry about that. Anyway, technical difficulties. Point was, I was upset. Maybe you're upset too. I don't know where we go from here. I know the lines of commodification get blurry, and I think that's why it's important to talk about them, because I do think that there are rippling consequences when you don't hold fast to certain ideals. When artists feel like their gifts are going to be taken advantage of, when people feel like the experience is going to be commodified, it changes the way people act. It changes the way people gift, it changes the way we interact with each other. And I think that is worth protecting, even if the tide is coming in. This is a sandcastle worth saving. So, Carol's got, let me try again to put the decommodification principle up on screen, see if it'll fill the whole screen. Come on, technology. Boom. Maybe not. Joe's saying that this also normalizes a certain type of body and it becomes associated with Burning Man. That's a whole different issue. And I think that's a fashion industry thing. And I think that Burning Man has its own struggle with the number of people that become familiar with Burning Man through videos of, say, people dancing at Robot Heart and then feel like, oh, I'm not fit or young enough to go here. I get emails like that way more than, it breaks my heart, because people hear about Burning Man, they feel this inner artist call, and then they go search for it online and they see some music video of hot Russian models. Nothing wrong with hot Russian models. They are welcome. Radical inclusion. However, when that becomes the perception, that makes people feel like this is or isn't for a place where I would be welcome. And that's the tragedy. But I don't think we can place all of that on the fashion industry. Maybe we can be upset at people for bringing our magic into the fashion industry, but I don't think we can. What? I take it back. No, we should take on the fashion industry. I probably have, additional sensitivity because I've been kind of walking the line as best I can of commodification, my life, my livelihood, and my Burning Man world, which is everything in my life overlaps with Burning Man. My work does overlap with Burning Man. My philosophy overlaps with Burning Man. My sexuality overlaps with Burning Man. I really can't separate them in a lot of ways. And so while there's parts of me that was like, yeah, let's just fuck it. But there's other part of me that says, no, fuck it. In a good way. Oops. All right, well, I think my heart rate has come down enough that I think that I can maybe be safe and not a harm to myself or others. And I hope that we keep talking about this stuff. I really think that one of the beautiful things about Burning Man and about our community and about the 10 principles is that these things are a dialogue. These things are they're not absolute laws, and some of them contradict each other. And the whole point is for us to explore what these ideas mean for us. And hopefully, as we do so, deeper our connection to what matters and why it matters, and why enculturation is so important, and why some of us think that if we spend enough time and practice in these areas, it makes a difference, not just in a little dusty terrarium exploration ground, but in the world. So I'm going to keep ranting and hugging because it's both important. So thanks for joining me and entertaining this randomness. Actually, not randomness, rantingness. I think that's what I mean. And if you're tuning in on a rarity, know that I do Facebook Live every Monday, 1 o'clock Pacific time, talking about whatever is on my mind that week, whatever growth experience, whatever idea, philosophy that is expanding my journey. I do not make money off it, so I do sometimes talk about Burning Man, but I make money on other things. So, but if I do make money while I'm wearing the words from the temple, you have my permission to smack me upside the head. Otherwise, you have my permission to give me a hug. Every other scenario, unless I'm wearing that outfit that we just saw on Vogue. Have a beautiful day. See you at home. Lots of stuff that I'm excited about coming up soon. So be on my mailing list if you'd like to do that. Can I say that? Is that crass? List.hugnation.com. And I'm going to do some like specific playa prep Facebook Lives that I want to make sure everybody knows about. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. There. Now the next rant someone else can do about me. That's how we grow.